I'm Wynell Gilbert, a secondary school science teacher at Erwin High School in Center Point, Alabama. I'm testifying today on behalf of the Jefferson County Federation of Teachers. I'm also a member of the American Federation of Teachers, which for many years has been training teachers in how to run effective, orderly, safe, and respectful classrooms without the use of corporal punishment. I'm here today because I know firsthand the difference a teacher can make in the classroom without having to resort to corporal punishment. Even though corporal punishment is allowed in many southern states, has it truly made a difference in student behavior? Based on my experience as a teacher in a high school that was once known for its discipline problems, using corporal punishment in my opinion, is comparable to sweeping dirt under the rug. The problem still exists, it's just being covered up. A paddle may teach a child to be fearful, but what happens when the child is no longer afraid? I've been in public education for approximately 12 years. 6 of these years have been spent at Erwin High School. In terms of demographics, we are a school that is approximately 93% African American, 1% Asian, 3% Hispanic, and 3% Caucasian. Our school has a highly transient student population. Many of my students are raised in single-parent homes, primarily by their mothers and/or grandparents. Most of the parents are relatively young. The majority of male students are raised in homes without their fathers, and sometimes there is little or no interaction between fathers and sons. Some of our students are affiliated with gangs and often engage in illegal activities. We've had to deal with a lot of discipline problems in the school, and unfortunately, some of these discipline problems were handled by the use of corporal punishment with the consent of a parent. The problems were not solved because the same behaviors continued, often with more hostility from the student. In my classroom, I have dealt with different types of misbehaviors. I can honestly say that I have never had to administer corporal punishment, nor had the desire to use it on any of my students. However, as a result of their misbehavior, some of my students did receive corporal punishment from the school administration. Unfortunately, when the students came back to my classroom, they were often hostile, and after a while, the misbehavior resumed. As a result, I became proactive in my class as opposed to being reactive. I started this process by implementing strategies that I learned through educational research and dissemination training. It's a professional development program developed by the American Federation of Teachers, which my local union provides. Based on this training, I set high behavioral expectations for my students, seek to empower them, and work really hard at getting to know my students, their likes, their dislikes, and try to find the things that motivate them. As simple as this may seem, these are the strategies that have cut down on misbehaviors in my classroom without the use of corporal punishment. For example, as an incentive, I give extra credit, bonus points to students who go the extra mile in class. We may do special projects as a class. I may have guest speakers come to talk to the students, and if the opportunity presents itself, we may do outside experiments. These are the things that I find help motivate my students. These incentives give them reason to come to my class and participate. In essence, these extras give students a sense of ownership and acceptance. Even though these strategies have been successful in my classroom, there are always a few students who may act out. However, because of the tone I have set and the expectations that have been established, these misbehaviors often are minor and can be handled in the classroom. I can recall a situation in which one of my female students would come to class with the worst attitude ever. She constantly caused problems in the classroom. Before sending her to the office, I spoke with the social worker. This is a position most schools in my district do not have, but we've been fortunate to have a social worker within our school. I found out that this young lady had very little respect for women because she was habitually abused by her mother and eventually was removed from her home and placed in foster care. When I realized this, I knew that harsh punishment would not solve the problem with this young lady. I learned that she was a very good artist, So the next day in class, we did an assignment in which students had to illustrate what they learned by drawing a picture. Each person in the class was assigned a role. Of course, I assigned this young lady to be the illustrator, giving her an opportunity to showcase her artwork. At the end of class, I commented her on her drawing, and she was thrilled to know that I liked the picture. We engaged in conversation about other things that interest her, but everything circled back to art. Without going into detail about her past, she told me that drawing gave her an opportunity to escape. Seeing that this was her greatest strength, I suggested the following to her. I told her when she came to class, she had to act like a young lady, to do all that was required for the class period. Then, if time allowed, I would let her draw for the last 5 to 10 minutes of class. I didn't let her down, I kept my promise, and I maintained consistency with her. As a result, she didn't let me down and became one of my better students. In this situation, corporal punishment would not have been the solution. In addition to the things I've done in my classroom to maintain discipline through positive reinforcement, our school has been proactive with this approach as well. Among the things that have been done in place is a program called Caught Doing Something Good, which recognizes students for doing something good in the school. For example, if a student turns in a lost wallet, the student's name is announced over the PA system at the end of the day. Students are so excited to hear their names announced that they work extra hard to be recognized for their positive behaviors. In conclusion, corporal punishment does not work, and in my opinion, should be banned. Fortunately, the principal of my school has moved away from corporal punishment unless the parent consents. Yes, we still have discipline problems, but our principal works really hard with our social worker to ensure that students have an opportunity to improve their behavior by using positive reinforcement before other steps are taken. Thank you, and I will be